Can I speak to your manager? They literally have a Karen.
Yes.
That is the new enemy of the Conjuring movie.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
It's just some old broad.
Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts.
We're going to go ahead and get into today's review. Now, hopefully, I can get everything. I see you. I see where you are. That's what I was like. I'm looking for my clips because they were like, listen, you can play maybe a couple of these clips, and after that, it's going to die.
Don't get nuts.
But no, I got it. No, chat. We're going to be going into this movie. Very curious to hear Martin's opinion, and of course I'll share my own, but also your guys' opinion on the film too. The Conjuring universe has been around for quite some time. Since I believe 2013 or 2014
Was that
right
the
now.
first one?
Yeah, I think so. And of course we are now on this latest film, chat, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the third film in the, I guess, the mainland franchise you want to see, but I think it's like how many films we've gotten? So we have The Conjuring, Conjuring 2, Annabelle, Annabelle 2, Annabelle 3. We've had The Nun, we've had La Llorona, and I guess that makes 8. That's 8 films, so nearly a goddamn 10. That's a lot of movies. It's a lot of movies.
Llorona was part of it.
It was, yeah. A lot of people don't want it to be.
and how does The Nun tie in with The Conjuring?
The Nun is the main villain. Spoilers. So we're gonna. Because I'm actually glad you're asking these questions.
Okay.
Because before we get into this review, chat, for The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Terrible title. We're going to talk about just in general the Conjuring verse and what we think has worked about it, what's been successful, what it hasn't succeeded at, that kind of thing. But to answer your question, the Nun was the main villain. Funny enough, The Conjuring 2.
Oh.
Yeah, because she was bamboozling. That's what people thought it was. That Bill Sykes, he sounds like this. Get out of my house. But really, he was a proxy. She just picked him up, and also the Crooked Man, who was also in the movie for some reason. And she was just using them. But it was the Nun who was the villain of The Conjuring 2.
I have failed you in the audience.
Oh, it's okay.
Because I never saw The Conjuring 2.
Oh no, I spoiled it for you.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
But I meant to watch it before coming here.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and then I just got caught up in doing things, and then the next thing I looked up, I was like, I only got 30 minutes. There's no time to watch it.
All right, okay. I mean, it's pretty. Let me save you some time. It's literally the first movie, except it's in England, and it has a blue-gray color palette. From my opinion, like you, again, not really big into ghost movies or haunted house films, but I really did appreciate The Conjuring. It was doing the same familiar things, but it did a few things I really liked. Like, I liked the whole relationship between the Warrens. Yeah, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga have some great chemistry, and that was on full display. And I just kind of like, these are just professional ghost hunters,
Sure.
professional demonologists, if that's a real term.
No. At least I feel with them in this film universe, the Warrens work. They are only undercut by the fact that the actual Warrens were just a bunch of con men and fake.
They are charlatans.
Yes,
they were charlatans.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, this is very much a fictitious adaptation of their cases and of them. Presents them in a much more positive light and probably as better people. It's funny, even with the Warrens, I was doing some research on them because they're like, oh yeah, we have all these cases. And they're like, yes, make these in the movies. Because there's a lot. There's a lot of them. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, I can see all these working. But allegedly, people had like very diverse opinions on them. Even skeptics were like, you know what? I don't believe anything they're saying, but they're such nice people, and I think that's just why they have said such a very kind adaptations of them, like especially in the Conjuring verse. But I mean, just to kind of get back to it, and this is James Wan's baby. Yeah, famously also the creator of the Saw franchise and did all that. Now it's this one.
Aquaman's his, right?
Aquaman is his. Yeah, he directed the first Saw. He did the Insidious films, which aren't connected to Conjuring, but they're doing the same things. They're ghost movies, haunted house films. And and they did all these spinoffs and again, when the films of the Warrens, at least the ones I've seen, really like them. But some of the other ones, like the first, I recently rewatched the first Annabelle.
Oh, it's
holy shit,
dog shit.
It's one of the worst horror films I think out there. Certainly of the of the 2010s, because I'm like, there's nothing fucking happens in this goddamn movie.
Especially, man, we're so excited. Wait, a whole horror movie based on a doll?
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be it. And you watch it, it's like, she's not doing jack shit.
Nothing. We're going to go ahead and get into a review of The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. But you're like, listen, we got to see the trailer first. We got to know what the hell's going on before we can start discussing this thing. So here we go, chat. Let's go ahead and look at the trailer.
Whatever happened that day. That was not Arnie.
Allegedly. Maybe. We're going to tell you yes, and you're going to be happy with it.
I mean, you can't prove that he wasn't.
I guess that's true. Damn it, they bamboozled us a gun. Son of a bitch.
Lorraine! Lorraine! Ed! You all right?
That's just shitty. That's the shitty thing to do. Right? Just, hello! Oh, what the I'd rather you kill me. I'd rather you kill me than blow and spit in my face. It's like, God damn it.
In your face.
Yeah, I know.
And your
What
eyes.
is this? That's assault, by the way. No, but there's the trailer for The Conjuring 3. And of course, this particular story is based on a true story.
I mean, they show footage to back it up.
They show footage, they show pictures, they have recordings and things, and yeah, I mean, it's based around it's two things actually, two cases they worked on at pretty much the same time of each other, happened in the same year. One was the Glatzel exorcism case of 1981, where the Warrens came and they assisted a family. By the way, Jesus Christ. When they did the adaptation, I'm sure they both appreciate, Patrick Wilson playing Ed and Vera Farmiga playing Lorraine, respectively. That's a hell of a fucking glow up right there.
Okay.
Jesus,
it is. But that shows them older. They seem to be they show some younger pictures of them.
Yeah, I've seen some other pictures.
It's still pretty far. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, maybe I could see Vera Farmiga eventually looking like Lorraine Warren, in the 70s. But Ed, I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But no, not only is this based around the Glatzel exorcism case, also the 1981 Arnie Johnson case, where apparently he was possessed by the same spirit or demon or ghost or what have you, that possessed the smallest member of the Glatzel family. And this caused him to commit murder. And it was the first case in U.S. history where it was a not guilty plea based around demonic possession. And the Warrens were also involved with that.
I mean, you got to give it to them.
The balls. Yeah.
That it worked.
Well, they're always putting themselves in the news, that kind of thing. It's like, don't worry, we're going to make this work for you guys. I swear to God. Now, the real case, what happened was, this not spoilers. I mean, this is what legitimately happens, is that Arnie Johnson, that whole plea deal, or not plea deal, but that not guilty
got
plea,
overturned.
it didn't work.
Oh.
Didn't work, and he went to prison.
Oh, okay.
Not for that long, though. Only for 5 years. Served his time, then he got out.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a happy ending for the most part, but this film doesn't have that. So you think I'm spoiling shit? It's like, no, that wasn't real. That's what the press told you. See, the Warrens, they know what the fuck happened. This is their story. But I will say, much like and we'll get into the meat of it. But I want to structure this like this, where hey, let's talk about the positives or the things that I thought really stuck out to me. And we'll go into the more of the things that didn't work and the stuff, and then we'll go back and forth, kind of do that.
Sure.
But one of the things I've always liked about these films, especially the first two Conjuring movies and the Conjuring-verse films that the Warrens have appeared in, is just the chemistry. Yes. I think between Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, it's like they really do feel like such a loving couple.
Sure.
In this movie. I don't think that they're the only couple that just works in the movie. I think across the board, I think most of the performances in this are solid. Like no one's giving a particularly bad performance.
No.
Maybe ridiculous. And we'll cover a few people in a bit. But like even the couple, where we have the Arnie Johnson and his girlfriend, who are both played by Rory O'Connor. He plays Arnie, and Sarah Catherine Hook plays his girlfriend, and also is I think the youngest daughter of the Glatzels. Like I think their chemistry is on full display, and again, that authenticity comes across for me.
Well, you're not possessed.
The demon's gone. What can you do now?
Who's your lawyer?
He was found.
And so, like, when they have those scenes between the two young kids, I think all of them come across really well. Like they're doing well with the material.
They do. I kept wondering, was something going to falter? But the kid playing Arnie, I really did feel for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays a character that you have sympathy for, who's not being whiny.
No.
He knew he put himself in a position, and he's willing to face whatever. And he's being tortured the entire time. And, as you can see, the actor's able to just cry on cue. and
that single tear.
and sell it, but you know, so often it's easy to watch his girlfriend, and you're thinking, oh, sweetheart, you got to get out of there.
Yeah,
but you know, she's sticking by him.
She stands by her man.
She does, and you can, even in that scene, it's almost like the Warrens look at them and go, this is us.
But I will say, I think this movie does a pretty good job. Like, there is a lot of humor in here that I responded to. Some of it on purpose.
Some of it not so much.
And some of it unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
But like even the scene when because everyone is always second guessing the Warrens throughout these movies, and they're like, all right, well, you know, if you don't believe us, come to our house. And I love it.
I had to pause the movie because we laughed so hard.
Because that was good.
Yeah.
But that's the humor I'm talking about. I think that's what kind of raises these movies above a lot of typical ghost films that we see. And it's on full display in this scene right here.
All right. Show me what you got.
Mr. Johnson.
Shit.
She's seen something.
Like, I love that moment. It just sells the humor so well. Even Arnie's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Just looking at her the whole time.
Oh, kid, you don't even know.
Patrick Wilson's like that actor. Every time I look at him, like, you can either be like really healthy and, you know, and like muscular and things, or he's just like a schlub. I was like, I can never tell. Like, it's kind of like the lighting. I'm not sure what it is, but this is the first time where we see him play Ed Warren, whose health started to deteriorate in the 80s. And they, you know, the reason why was because he was attacked by a demon, but probably because he, you know, had died in the 70s.
We've seen Ed Warren. We know why.
Yeah, we all know why. But they had to prove, like, okay, how can we make Patrick Wilson sick looking because he looks so healthy and everything? It's like, there we go, demon attack.
Yeah.
But I do like how they show his disease, his heart problem affecting him throughout the entire film. And of course, that's some unintentionally funny moments too.
It also lets a lot of moments where we were watching where you're like, yeah, a person who just had a heart attack is not going to be moving like that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can, I know.
Especially not in the 70s.
I mean, you have him, like, one time, like, waddling through a forest, like, and then, like, with a fucking axe going, like, Jack Nicholson all over the place.
Like, no,
galloping.
No,
that's not how this works.
No. Well.
But, yeah, you could showcase a little bit of Ed Warren's, you know, his heart problem, but how it adds to kind of, like, the drama of the film right here.
I don't know where.
This woman targeted David and Jessica. Maybe there's a connection there. Let me take a look at the
You got too fast, buddy. What are you doing?
Stood up too fast.
Damn. Jesus Christ, Tim Burr. But it's like even like the smallest thing at this point with him. Before, I mean, him and his wife were doing like fighting ghosts and going through the, you know, crawl spaces and what have you. Now, if he stands up too fast, like it's too much on him.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool because it just shows that they're not going to be able to do this forever and that their work is taking their toll on them. And again, it just makes you feel for these characters so much more. Sure. And I really love that. Now, you know, again, I think his illness is sometimes used, you know, for comedic effect.
It's a device,
especially, you know, and I bet they're going to use it as a crutch for the rest of them. I mean, you've seen this guy, seen the trailer, guys, but like how it's used here, it's pretty goddamn funny. I don't know how you can't laugh.
Lorraine! Lorraine!
And you have her just fucking laughing at him the whole time. There are so many scenes like this. This is the tip of the iceberg with him just falling over, getting attacked by something. Poor Ed. But that's some of the more, I think, maybe intentional, funny moments in the film.
I can tell you I liked about this was how the structure was different from at least I didn't see the second Conjuring, but from the first Conjuring. Because it'd be real easy, like, hey, we remade the first movie and it worked. Why not just do it again? And it was like, oh, no, they're going for something different. This is actually more like a procedural on how they're working through a case. Just having a case that they're trying to prove, I felt like, well, this grounds it to something and it has me interested in okay, what are you going to do next way?
They do change the structure of the movie.
Yeah.
which I love because it made it a little bit more fresh, even though they're doing the same knocking and shit.
Yeah, I mean, they aren't reinventing a wheel, but it is, hey, you didn't try to sell me the same movie you already sold me before.
Exactly. Now, we'll definitely sell you a bunch of creepy characters who I'm like, there's no way you would be alive or live in this kind of world, but that's fine, that's fine. And this is where we get to the stuff I'm like, I don't know if they intended this to come across as comedic as it is or just weird, especially who they cast as certain characters in the film. We come to like a moment I'm like, I don't know if this is really working for me. And it's this one right here.
Father Kastner.
I have chicken shit on my hands.
Okay. I have feces all over my hands. All right, because it's going to go away. That's fair. John Noble, man, he's a great actor. He is. But he is only casting things nowadays to play either an evil character or someone who's weird. Now, this movie, you don't know which one it is.
It's his face and the accent.
It is that. Yeah, I guess so. Like, is it a British accent? I can't even tell anymore, like, what it is.
It doesn't sound British at all.
I don't know what he is.
I don't know.
Someone in the chat could possibly let us know.
German,
but
Austrian, Hungarian.
Could be. Oh, yeah. You know, he famously played Denethor in Lord of the Rings. That's what everyone's screaming in the chat. Denethor!
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and again, he was a weird, crazy monarch, or steward in that case. But yeah, his role in the film, you know, he serves to just be weird and to deliver copious amounts of exposition.
Yes.
That's pretty much all he does. And, you know, it's just like... This movie is kind of going against what it typically did with the sequel so much. It's like to have his inclusion. And it's not the fault of his own. Some chill is written, but it's just like, this isn't it really working for me at this point. And it's coming off unintentionally funny because of just how fucking weird he is. And his menagerie of the occult, and everyone going like, yeah, this ain't going to work out later.
It was just funny to me that he was recommended to them.
Yeah.
Oh, go see this guy.
Yeah.
No, I vouch for him. He can help you. And you get there, you're like, this guy, really?
No, I don't think
Especially
so.
Later in the film. You're like,
I know.
I've been bamboozled.
I know. It's just like, and they set it up too, especially because he's so weird. You see a lot of the stuff coming right off the bat, chap. But yeah, John Noble's he's John Nobling what he does, acting crazy and evil and weird.
Plus, when they introduce him as he's an ex-priest, you're like, yeah, of course he is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, what did he do? That immediately sets up like you did something bad, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I resigned.
Sure.
Under pressure,
okay.
I'm sure.
Okay. Now, what I did like about this, the other thing I liked about this movie, and it goes back and forth. Like sometimes I think it's working, other times I think it's like unintentionally funny,
Sure.
and it's the inclusion of an entity that is not a ghost. And I thought that was unique.
Yeah.
I thought you're changing up because all these movies, every single Conjuring film has dealt with a ghost. And this is the first one where even they tell you, it's like, someone's cursing these people.
Yeah.
And it builds on things that we saw even in the other movies, even the ones we hate. I'm like, that's fucking cool how they did that. Now, how they use it occasionally, I don't think works very well. But this new character who we see throughout it, and it made me realize what the enemy they picked, the individual that we needed for our new... It can't be a ghost, can't be a demon. It needs to be something else. And was showcased really here for the first time. That is the worst looking glory hole ever.
Listen, you're screaming. You're screaming at the screen. Oh, wait, what are you doing?
I know. Guys, meet your manager! They literally have a Karen.
Yes.
That is the new enemy of the Conjuring movie.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
It's just some old broad who's messing with people.
Who's really tall.
Yeah, very tall, very gaunt. The actress who actually plays her is, I think this might be one of her first roles. I went on Wikipedia.
Where does she look familiar?
I did not see her, she didn't have a Wikipedia page and all her roles. Eugene Bondurant.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, good for her. I mean, she's using her Karen abilities quite well throughout the entire film. But I even like how they set it up because I'm like, okay, well, why is this person doing this? This new threat in the movie. It almost feels like, it's like the anti-Warrens or something. It's kind of like the Hydra of the Conjuring verse or something like that. It's like, that's cool. And, because people are asking, like, why is this individual doing this to all these people? And the Warrens are like, I don't know. A Satanist is what a Satanist does. I'm like, really? That's all we're gonna get?
Okay,
no explanation.
Because a thing I have, a negative to the movie, and I feel like I say this every week, and I want to keep bringing it up, but it's a bit long because it's 2 hours long, and there's nothing wrong with a 2-hour movie, but we aren't really talking about anything here.
Yeah.
It's ghost hunters and a bunch of jump scares. Ultimately, and even though it masquerades as a procedural in a court case, it's really not that. That's not at the heart of it. But as it went on so long, I started losing the thread of the plot of what we were getting to.
Oh yeah.
So
gotcha.
by the time it got done, I was like, damn, they just dropped a bunch of exposition, and I still don't know why she's doing this. Like, the movie ended, and I was like, I don't know why she was doing all that.
Because Satan's cool. Literally. People ask this question in the film. They ask the Warrens. This is point blank. This is right after we kind of understand what's going on. It's very established early in the beginning, and they're like, Satanists just do this thing. They just like fucking mess with people. They just like stabbing. They just like worshiping Satan and summoning ghosts or what have you. I'm just like, I need more than that. But like, what's their reason for this? Because that'd be a cool threat to establish in future films.
Oh yeah.
A
cult of people who are doing this for some reason that we have yet to determine.
Like, who's going to be the Thanos level demon of the Conjuring verse? Maybe there's something like that would have been. I'm like, well, okay, you're doing something new, you're establishing a whole new threat, but it kind of goes nowhere, and that's what it's frustrating. Because what Karen does, I don't know. I think she's called just the occultist. The movie doesn't. I'm gonna call her Karen for the sake of convenience.
Yeah.
She just does all the other. And this is where we're getting the bad stuff. This is the things I'm like, come on. Where she's just doing all the typical shit that all the other ghosts do in this franchise for the most part. I'm just haunting people to haunt them, and I'm just getting kicks for it. That seems safe. And look, just watched him through that window.
I know.
You just know. She's like, oh, just watch this guy. It's gonna be so spooky. By the way, like scares, some of the scares, especially in the beginning, take place like in the middle of the day. That never works for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just don't get that. To me, it's just like it's in full broad daylight, and I'm like,
oh, those work more for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, because that's a feeling of, hey, I or anybody could be out in the middle of the day, living your life, doing your thing, and something happens.
Fair.
When it's dark, it's like, your hackles are up a little bit.
Yeah.
You should be expecting things.
And you're inviting that on yourself anyway.
Like the scene we just saw with him looking into the
glory hole.
The glory hole. Where just prior to that, he watches a big rat climb into it.
I know.
So you're
gross.
Like, yeah, it's gross. And wait, if a rat's in there, why are you sticking your eyeball up to it? Like, do you want it bitten?
It'll just take it right. I'll slip it out of your skull. You're right. That you make a very good point. This whole movie is surrounding the fact that Arnie Johnson murdered his landlord.
Yeah.
And the reason was because of the fact that he was possessed by this entity, this demon. Now, watching this movie, that ain't it at all. I know exactly why he killed his landlord, and anyone in this room would have done so because this guy's just an asshole.
Don't make me drink alone.
Why would you do that? That's why I said, like, what kind of asshole? I don't care however big of an alcoholic you are, waste beer like that.
I know.
Just gets it all over the place.
Over the rug. That is shag carpeting right there in the 80s. Like that's gonna be a bitch to get out. So this guy, this character who's not in the film long, he is so over the top that I'm like, anyone would kill him. It's just inevitable.
They would, or at least be like, I'm gonna grab my girlfriend and we're gonna leave while you
calm down,
while you dry out.
Yeah.
But also, I felt that way through the first half of all this with him, but toward the end, I was like, you know what? It's hard to know if this guy's really acting this way or the demon is making Arnie see it this way. Because it started to get so extreme. I was like, wait, this is Arnie's vision.
Oh, it's going back and forth. That's true. It was manipulating him. That's true. But the guy wasn't drunk, and he was always acting kind of weird and grabby.
We could see in the calmer scenes the guy was a drunk. It's just that he was acting out in a way that was so over the top. I was like at first I was like, oh, geez. And I was like, I feel like something's going on here.
Yeah, maybe it's meant to be dubious like that. I mean, that is a very fair point.
Yeah.
But there are some other fun scenes with Ghost Karen because she's busy messing with the poor Arnie, messing with all these other people because why? Because she likes to.
Because it's a small town and there's nothing else to do.
That's why.
And when she was young, somebody was mean to her.
Yeah, that's it. And that set her down her dark path. But I do like, because I thought what they were establishing here is like, ooh, there's something of a rivalry between her and the Warrens. And how she's just fucking with them throughout the movie. And especially poor Ed. Which you saw earlier, just blowing something in his face. But no, she's getting the stuff that she pulls. It's like, it's pretty nefarious what she's doing.
Where is she?
I'd hate for you to give up now.
Bitch. I mean, she's pulling moves like that.
She got a little cat and mouse thing going on.
She does. And that was one of the fun dynamics in the movie was that whether or not it leads to anything substantial, that's a matter of opinion, of course. But I did like, very much the cat and mouse game with the Warrens throughout the entire film. But inevitably, what's happening, though, is that Karen is just doing the same things we so often see in all these haunted house films. Despite her being like a new type of threat in the movie, which I think is cool, it's the same shit we've always seen.
I don't disagree with you, but maybe not to the same intensity.
Okay.
Whereas it is a lot of things we've seen. And at the same time, there's little twists on them, and it's not quite the same. So much of what we usually see is very cheap.
Yeah.
And I felt like maybe this wasn't imaginative, but it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to you.
No, I get it. No, like this movie has money. And, like you look at like the original. Are you saying like cheap where the scares weren't earned? Is that what you're more like saying? Okay, that's fair enough. I just felt like a lot of the scares they just maybe like they're doing something unique. Like they're using a waterbed now, to have like a frightening thing that pops up or something. I'm like, okay, that's different. Using furniture of the 80s or whatever, got a nice little creepy face coming up and moving around. But it's stuff that I feel like we've definitely seen before.
It's funny, that whole scene, all I could think about was, waterbeds were awful. Why did people indulge in those?
I don't know, maybe it's for their backs or something. Wouldn't they be cold? I mean, do you heat them? Like, I don't even know how that works.
The thing is, unless you have it pumped all the way, you try to sleep on it. It's not good for your back at all. You can't sleep. Every little movement does
You just start jiggling,
Yeah. You jiggle. So you got to get it pumped up all the way, and things don't go well. Bust.
I know.
And the room's flooded.
And you lose. I would probably expensive too for that. That's why probably no one bought them eventually because they're such a hassle.
Yeah.
And of course, it might be possessed by a demon ghost for all we know.
There's always that.
There's that. But there's some other stuff in this movie that I'm just like, okay, now you're just fucking taking. You're just stealing.
No. The theft was real.
Yeah.
I mean, just right off the bat.
But like
when they call in the Exorcist, and they don't just call in the Exorcist, they go clip footage from the Exorcist and pose it and light it exactly that same way.
Well, maybe they'll do like a little change or something, but it's pretty much the exact same scene. I'm like, and this is right at the beginning. You gotta be. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah,
this
right?
is ridiculous. Come on,
dude.
Come on.
Come on.
even look behind him like, where's the light? Where's the lamppost that should be there? I mean, I even have a shot from the original, just to show you. It's like pretty goddamn close to what you're doing here. Yeah, he's a little closer to the house. Maybe there's a little more water on there.
But nobody's missed that. No, nobody's missing that.
Yeah, it's like that. But it's just unnecessary stuff that you didn't need to have.
Did you catch the psycho shot?
Oh, the side. Oh, you know what? I didn't. But there's a ton of shots in this movie from Psycho.
Yeah.
From even things like It.
Yeah.
More recently. And I mean, like right here, I have this scene right here, and you guys have seen something like this before. It's not very different.
That's the Psycho shot.
Yeah. Oh, that's the. Oh, okay. Oh, the hand.
Yeah.
I thought there was maybe another shot with the knife or something earlier. No, I guess you are right. Yeah, that is the shot. I'm thinking of something else.
I mean, that whole thing of even shooting the shower that way.
I know. Yeah.
Like, bro.
Yeah, and this is all.
It's early in the movie.
Very early in the movie, and then they do a couple new things. Like again, the introduction of Karen, I think, is very fun, but it kind of inevitably all becomes the same thing at the very end. It's like, all right, now to the next case. And it's too bad because I think it has a lot of potential. There's a lot of things I like about this movie. It just has these issues that prevent it from being like as good maybe as the first film. Or, I mean, I think I'll tell you this, I'll tell you right now, we're going to go on back and forth, do final thoughts in general. But I really admire the fact that they tried different things for the most part when they weren't ripping off other movies. They established like a totally cool new threat. And fans of the Conjuring verse, I think you'll like it if you read into this because there's a lot more to that character and what she's connected to, and I think that's nice. But it still indulges in all the typical tropes and scares that we so often see in a lot of these haunted house ghost movies. That, I mean, if you like that shit, then hey, more power to you. You got plenty of it here, no doubt about that. But like for someone like me, I'm like, I was really happy at them doing something a little bit different. The fact that it was just like, yeah, this is new, but everything else is the same. So that bothered me, but. Again, the relationship between the Warrens, Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, and their story, like that's what keeps these movies entertaining, at least for me, to a certain extent. Like I really like what they're pulling. But overall, if I had to give this any type of rating, I'd probably give it the same as I maybe gave the first film, like a high rental.
I don't think it's great. Like I said, it winds on too long. It doesn't really have much important to say. Which is, that's the thing for horror movies. But there's enough going on here. And I'm like, all right. I wasn't digging it at first the way it was, being such a rip-off artist. But there's so much here for me to like, which I normally am not able to say.
Sure.
I see where you're saying, like, it doesn't live up to its potential because of those good things it brings up. It could have gone stronger with some of these elements and really focused on those rather than the ghost stuff. But also, I think they lost potential on was the son, their son, he's just there to work the camera, and I was like, there's so much you could be doing with him. Overall, I'd say for something that you can watch on HBO Max,
very true,
or if you're a fan watching a theater, I think these Conjuring movies, they know that. Whatever the franchise, the satellite movies do, these are the ones where they spend the money, where they spend the time, and make them better. And while it may not have as much of an impact as the first movie, it does try something different.
Yep.
And most of what it does different, I appreciate. So I would give it more of a low matinee.
Okay. No, that's totally fair. I could totally see that rating. If anything, I just hope that they learn from this movie and go, okay, we just can't keep doing the same haunted house ghost stuff. Like you established something really cool here. Now go with it. And to your point with their son-in-law and their daughter, I mean, those are other cases. Like they got involved with all of these things. So they can adapt them. They make them more characters in the film.
Yeah.
And so I'd be all up that. It's the next generation of the Warrens. This franchise is going to keep going. It's going to keep making money. There's always ghosts, aren't they? So you have that to look forward to. And yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they have all the movies up there on HBO Max. So you can watch them all back to back to back and skip the ones that aren't that good.
The funny thing is every time they go to that trophy room, you just go like, well, here's all the next movies all right here.
Yes.
Or if they decide they want to do a series like that Friday the 13th series.
Oh, yeah, or Nightmare on Elm Street. Which, it's funny because Friday the 13th, did not have Jason Voorhees at all in that. Which, honestly, that didn't bother me because it was Twilight Zone. I did it too. I did too. But people hated the fact that they didn't have Jason every episode. Even though he doesn't do anything. He's a big zombie with a machete.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the way people hate Halloween 3. Because
I love Halloween 3.
Me too.
Yeah, it's so good.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with Jason. I mean, wait, I'm losing.
There's too many goddamn serial killers and movie monsters here, and they're gonna keep making more movies about
Michael Myers. It doesn't have Michael Myers. Yeah, but
True.
Still, I like that one.
Yeah. So, Chad, go ahead and check it out. I do think it's worth checking out. It's low matinee for Martin, high rental for me. You got it right there on HBO Max.